Hello and welcome to another Cigar Box guitar lesson. I'm Sean from Chord Guitar, and we're doing another fretted note plus slide playing video here today. So we've done 3 others previously. This is the 4th one, and we're looking at sort of Delta blues inspired licks here. It's a 12-bar blues, very similar to the Chicago one that we did in the first of the series, and I'd say this is quite sort of heavily influenced by sort of Robert Johnson style, some of his songs, and we're fitting it into a standard 12-bar, but we're trying to sort of incorporate some of the licks, some of the riffs that you can hear on some of the sort of classic early recordings. So just before we get into the lesson, let's check if we're in tune. So we've got low G and middle D and high G. Okay, so as with the others, if you like this content, if you like this video, please consider going to our website and purchasing the score for a very reasonable price. It really helps support the channel so we can carry on putting out more content, and it's half price for the first 7 days, so if you go over there and make the most of that. And basically this is fairly similar in a way to the Chicago blues, but it's slower, more sort of relaxed, and it still follows the 12-bar structure, but with a couple of slight variations. One of them being that we've actually included a 4th chord, which doesn't happen very often in blues. So this is an E minor. So we're in the key of G, obviously. So the standard chords are G, C, and D. But occasionally, if you have a slightly more sort of melodic, slightly sweeter sounding blues, they sometimes go for a minor chord, what you call the relative minor to G, which is E minor. So this happens towards the end of the 12-bar. And as with the title, we're basically mixing between fretted and slide playing. And also what happens on quite a lot of early blues recordings is, even though it's just a 12-bar cycle that keeps going round, it actually starts with a little introduction, which is typically basically the turnaround. So that's what we're doing here. So the turnaround just being the little sort of descending kind of bass line, or the descending riff, which then finishes on a D. Okay. So it's a swung rhythm, so that means we've got that sort of feel, so that the half-beat notes are uneven. Basically, you get that horse trot sound. I'd say these 4 lessons are probably they're not really sort of beginner level. They're a little bit more sort of intermediate, like if you've been playing for a period of time. So if you find anything difficult here, there are earlier videos we've done on sort of basic fingerstyle and basic sort of slide technique as well. But let's just crack on. So we're going to start with a little introduction, which, like I said, is the turnaround. So what we're doing here is most of the time the thumb is just playing this bass string. Quite a lot of palm muting, as with a lot of other things on the bass, just so you separate the sound out a bit between the bass and then the higher notes. And so we've got bass. We've just got an open high G. This is all fretted to start with, and I'm going to play this descending line, and I'm actually going to play that with my thumb. So the thumb is dropping down onto the middle string here. So if we play and we actually do a little pull, so we play the open G and this fret 3 on the middle string, play that high G again, drop down to fret 2, pull, high G, and then finish on the open. So that's still the thumb. And it doesn't particularly matter, it's a relatively slow movement, so it doesn't particularly matter which finger you use here. So we've got like 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1. So by the time you hit the open string, that's beat 1 of the second bar. Okay, and then we're going into a D on fret 7 with the slide. So that second bar is 1, and so I'm finishing the turnaround descending riff with my thumb on the middle string, but then because the thumb's moving back up here, I'm actually going to use my finger, my index finger, on that middle string, and then slide into fret 7 with the thumb, fingers, thumb, finger, thumb. You can slide off and do like a little pull right at the end of that second bar, just on the open. So I'll just do that turnaround, that introduction one more time. So it's 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and okay. Now the sort of character of this is a bit more space in this, so we're basically playing on the offbeat and letting that ring over into the next bar. So that's right at the end of the bar, and it's and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. So I'll just join those together in a minute, but basically that. So this is now the start of the main 12 bar. So on the score, it's line 2, and we've called it the verse. So there's two verses, 2 12 bars. Okay, so this is the start of verse 1. So it's just thumb. This is all on the middle string with the finger now, and 2 on fret 2, beat 2, fret 2, and thumb, and that's beat 4, 1. And pull with fret 2, and then in between 3 and 4, and so that's quite a standard sort of blues bass riff. And then we're going into, this is all still fretted. This is sounds like a G7 basically. It's fret 12 and fret 10 on the top string, middle string fret 12, top string fret 10, and it's triplets, because the shuffle rhythm gives us 1 2 3 1 2 3. If we play lots of notes or fill the beat, each beat with notes, it gives you a triplet. It gives you 3 notes. So it's like 1 2 3 1 2 3. We can slide into that. Just gives it a nice bluesy character. Can do a 1 fret 2 fret slide. Either's fine. It's a quick grace note slide. So you're straight in. 1 2 3 2 2 3, and then not a triplet, but slide in again. 3 4, and then that open is ringing through into the next bar. Okay, so this is the first 2 bars of the verse, the first 12 bars. So it's 1 2 3 4, and 1 2 3 2 2 3 3 4, and all right. So if I just go from the intro one more time, you can hear how that offbeat carries over into the start of the verse. Okay, so 3 4 and 1, turn around, 2 3 4 and 1 2 3 4 2 3 4 and then the third bar is exactly the same as the first bar. So this is now line 3 of the score. We're going to do a slide riff now. So So what we're doing here is, because we're just wanting to play one string, don't have too high an angle because you'll catch the frets, but you don't want to be flat because we just want to play, use the slide on the top string, string 1, so that we can leave these two open. So if you can see that angle there. Slide in on beat 1, slide out on beat 2. So that's actually a triplet. 1, 2, 3. So slide down, 1, 2, and do a little pull off there. Now, if we're angled that way to just play string 1, we want to come across like that if we just want to play string 2, so that we don't catch string 1. So we slide in to fret 3. I'm going from 2 because it's just, again, it's a grace note slide, so you don't want to slide from too far down. And that's a pull together, and then because we're angled like this, we can play the open string 1 and another thumb. So that is okay, and we're going in early. So that's now four bars of G. So unlike the Chicago blues, which actually changed to C early, we're just staying on G for the first 4 bars. But we're now about to go at bar 5, and we're going for a fretted C. So that is a little bit of a stretch, that C, so you might need to practice that. Make sure that you get enough of a bridge, so you're not catching strings underneath, because we want to try to make sure we can let all 3 strings ring out. But we're going early to this note, fret 2 on the middle string, and again it's a pull, and it's like and 1. So it would be and 1. Okay. So let's just try the first 4 bars of the verse. So 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, all fretted. 2, 3, 4. Let it ring over bar 3 of the verse. Slide on bar 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Okay. So that let's just have a quick look at a couple of bars of the score here. So basically carrying over from the slide bar into the C, because the C bar is really sparse. 1, 2, particularly if we like do a bit of palm muting on the bass. Okay, so it's quite important that we get a good sound. We're not catching, so we let that ring through. We can also use sort of dynamics, make those offbeats like stand out a bit more, so that it just brings it all to life a little bit, and it sort of fills the space. So it's like, so, and 1, 2, 3, 4, same again, and 1, 2, and when we drop the fret 5, which is the normal bass note for C, that's a C note. When we drop it down here to a B flat, that actually creates like a C7 sound. And 7th chords always work really well in blues. So we're just doing that for 2 beats, and then we're bringing the slide back in, so quite a typical nice bluesy riff there, going up into a C across all the strings, so it's a pull, just open with the fingers together, pull into B flat, fret 3, and then open again. So C early, 1, 2, 3, 4, and C7, and then slide 3 and 4, and so that comes in on the last half of that bar. So that is currently up to 6 bars, and we're going back to G, and we're going to do like a fretted note riff here. So basically with blues, the whole sound of blues is like there's a bit of tension in there. There's a bit of a sort of clash because you frequently got like major and minor like mixed up. If you have lots of 7th chords together, so you know G7, C7, D7, and so on, plus like a mixture of sort of major and minor pentatonic notes, it actually creates a really nice feel where it's constantly, there's a bit of tension and then it resolves and it sounds nice again. So this riff is really kind of like a mishmash between yeah, the sort of major and minor sounds, and it's because there's quite a lot of notes there. It's all triplets as well. So what we're doing here is we're going thumb and open string. That's beat 1, and because we've got the slide on finger 3. I think it's necessary for this one, particularly for that C chord really, we need fingers 1 and 4 handy. So I'm going to use finger 4 on fret 5 on the middle string. That's beat 2. So there's a pull there with the bass, and then fret 3, I'll do a little pull off, so that's the pull off symbol on the score, just a little flick off to the open string. Triplet, 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, and then we've got another triplet, 5 to 4, so I'm actually going to play this with my thumb. So that's a pull off from fret 5 to fret 4. So when you have a pull off from one fretted note to another, this needs to be fretted just before we pull off. So you end up with 2 notes fretted, so you might need to adjust your hand position so you're coming round a little bit with your wrist, because whenever you're doing it on the lower string, you don't want to be too tense. You need to take a bit of strain in your wrist. So we've got beat 2, pull off here, just play the open. That's the hard bit. The last beat, sorry, is hopefully okay because it's just a hammer on from 3 to 4. So we're doing a pull off from 5 to 4, and then a hammer on from 3 to 4, and then we'll do that same trick where we pluck right at the end of the bar and let that ring over. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's get the slide back in. So you can completely play that with your finger if you want. You just get a nice tone with the slide. It's nice to get a bit of contrast again. We need that angle so we're not catching string 1. So that's 1, 2, slide, so that's a pull. Bass. With any of those hammer-ons and pull-offs, if they're difficult, because it's relatively slow, this, I think somewhere around 60, 70 BPM, you can completely just fret them if you want, just pick every single note. Try and get that hammer-on maybe, but the pull-offs are normally more difficult. Something like that. And again, if this slide angle is difficult, you can also just like fret it. Still sounds good. Maybe do a little slide in there from 2 to 3. Okay, so we're coming towards the end of our first 12 bar now. So we're on to D. So we're going to go 4, a open D5 chord, so that's fret 2, middle D string open, and say in the Chicago blues, from the bar position, we were doing that sort of bluesy bass riff. Could do something similar down here. So we hold fret 2 down and we add fret 4 in with the little finger. So okay, now that position might be a bit awkward. So what you could do is you could, as you go in with your little finger, you could release with your first finger. So what we're doing is the thumb is actually alternating between the bass string and the middle D. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're doing a pull to start with, and we're going 1, finger on its own. We're doing another pull, but this time the thumb is on the middle string. You can take that off if you want and add your little finger, and then just finger on its own back to fret 2, bass on its own, finger on its own, back to finger 4, pull again, back to finger. All three together, finger, if you want to release that, fret 4, pull on with the middle D, finger, bass, finger, sorry, I'll leave that on. Okay, so a little bit tricky that, but hopefully that little rocking effect will help if you find that a horrible stretch to hold this in place. Right, now we're going to an E minor now, so this gives it a nice sort of melodic sound. So that is very similar to the C. So C's fret 5, a little bit easier. Still using my little finger because of the slide here on fret 4. So fret 2, middle string, fret 4, bass string. And we're doing a pull, so together, then fingers, always plucking in pairs here with the fingers, thumb, fingers, and then just step up to C and just do another pull, play together. So slide. So just a little grace slide into fret 3, the B flat. And then just finish on the open strings like the open G power chord. So from the D's the difficult bar, I think, really. So it's 1, finger, pull, finger, bass, finger, pull. And then I might actually jump off early and play an open string to get on that. So that was just the finger on its own. Maybe open, and then E. Okay, now the turnaround, same as the intro, exactly the same as the intro, with the slide and that offbeat open string as well. Okay, so let's try the first 12 bar. So 3, 4, and 3, 4, fretted, slide, 2, 3, 4, off, 1, 2, 3, 4, slide, C early, and 1, 2, 3, 4, there's a C7, slide, riff, 1, 2, and slide, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, off early, E minor, C, B flat, turn around. Slide on, fret 7 for D. Okay, so that is like verse 1, 12 bar 1, number 1, and we're going for 12 bar number 2. So this is more slide playing, so I suppose it's more like a little solo. So we're doing this alternating angle again because we're going up to fret 3 and then fret 3 here. Okay, so incidentally, in 12 bar number 1, it sounds quite sweet going up to fret 4. That's actually the note that makes it sound major. That's a G major. If you go up to fret 3, that's actually a minor, so you frequently get like minor to major in blues. Like I was saying, it really just gives it that particular character. And fret 3 on the middle string gives it like a 7, makes it sound a bit like a G7 chord. So that works really well as well. So we're and then we're actually going up to fret 4 in the bass. So it's like minor sound, 7, major sound. You know, so mixing those particular notes often works really well with blues. So rhythmically it sounds like this. It's 1, open, pull into 3, open, pull into 3 on the middle string, open, open, that's bar 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and bar 2, because it's like a two bar phrase. Slide into 4 and jump off it straight away and play, do another like double finger pluck on the offbeat on the open strings. So there's another double pluck, so right up to fret 12. It's got a little bit of a sort of muddy waters sound, that. So it's the second bar is 1 and 2, 3, 4, offbeat again. So we keep doing that offbeat pluck going right into the next bar. So both bars is 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, off. So that's like bars 1 and 2 of verse 2. So bar 3 of verse 2, which is the bottom of page 2 of the score, is the same as the first bar. And then what we're going to do is we're going to borrow that high fretted note G7 triplet riff. As we did in the first 12 bar. But instead of finishing on the open, we're actually into the C chord after this, which is going to be the slide on fret 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, fingers early and thumb 1. That's going on to page 3 of the score, which is going into the C chord with the thumb. So I'm going to finish there, play the first 4 bars of the second 12 bar. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, off, 1, 2, 3, 4, fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Okay, and so same as the first one, letting the high notes ring out. We're doing it just with the slide this time when we get to the C. So it's 1, 2, 3. So we can again mix it up. That's quite a sweet major sound. So it works nicely. Not so much on the middle string, so I'm only plucking with the bass and my middle finger on the top string here, sliding from 5 to 4 and doing a little flick off. Straight back in, slide from wherever you want. It's a quick grace note, so that's into bar 2 of the C. So that's almost going major and minor, you know, so constant like mixing back and forth between them. So from 5 down to 3 at the end of the second bar of the C, we can that kind of creates a triplet if we go up and down quickly in a pull off. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or you can even pick it. But I've put it as slide and pull off on the score. So it's 1, 2, 3. And again, beat 4, slide back into fret 3. So that's all together. And then off, fingers on the open. So both bars of C, it's and 1, 2, 3, triplet, 2, and triplet. Got to do that a little bit more slowly. We'll just try that one more time. So into C. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Back to the main riff. So that's the same as the first riff at the beginning of this 12 bar. But we're going to D now. And so again, we're going to come into that early fingers, thumb on beat 1. So this offbeat little kind of rhythmical feature keeps repeating throughout here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Early with the fingers. 2, 3, 4. There's the fret. So this time with the slide, D is fret 7. E is fret 9. So that's a power chord. So whenever we just use a slide or just a bar, it's a power chord. So it's not actually a minor chord there, but the power chord works perfectly well in place of that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So you're going in with your fingers early each time. And then sort of we're actually off the C early here. 1, 2, 3. Because as with a lot of times up until now, that going into that fret 3 is a really nice little bluesy kind of end of phrase thing. And then turn around, same as before, but here, so this is the final bar now of the score, right at the bottom of page 3. So the thumb is on the middle string, so it's a pull, thumb and finger. Swap over finger, because the thumb's coming back up here. And then let's go for that G7 again, slide into it. It's nice little way to conclude it. Finger, thumb, all together. Just let that ring out. Okay. So let's try. We'll just do the whole lot of that second verse, the second 12 bar. So 3, 4, and. 3, 4, open, 1, 2, 3, 4, fingers on the G7, 3, 4, early, C, 2, 3, triplet, 2, back to the main riff for G, 3, early to D, 1, 2, 3, 4, early to E, early to C, but jump off it, and then turn around. Okay. So I think that's about it. So I hope that's useful. And so what we're doing here is, like with the Chicago Blues one, we're keeping to quite a rigid 12-bar structure, and we're just looking at how you can fit different licks in over the top of the different chords, basically. Hopefully they sound sort of fairly authentic to the early sort of acoustic blues stuff from the 30s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and you know, either slide or fretted riffs. And we're keeping to yeah, just that standard 4 bars of G, 2 bars of C, 2 bars of G, and then D, C, turn around back to D again. Although with this one we're just slotting in the E minor for like half a bar on bar 10. So you've got D on bar 9, E minor to C in bar 10, and then it goes to G in the turnaround. And some of the early, quite a lot actually of the early sort of acoustic players from the South, they actually didn't always stick to a regular 12-bar cycle, because they were often like solo performers, so that they were you know, just playing songs, and it sounds brilliant, but sometimes slightly irregular lengths for their cycles for different songs, which is actually quite difficult to do. So we're just completely sticking to this 12-bar structure, which is much easier to get to grips with, and it's also easier to then maybe improvise yourself. You know, maybe learn some of these licks, try them in different orders, try and pull some of the ones from like the Chicago Blues and other ones that we've done on different lessons, and you know, just combine them. Hopefully they'll inspire you to come up with some of your own licks. You can check out some of our videos where we're looking at different scales, like the minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, blues scale, and like the different chord shapes. And if you're able to keep that rigidly to like a 12-bar format, then you're free to, you know, sort of swap in and out of slide playing, barred chords, open chords, single note licks, the whole lot, little two-string chords and all the rest of it. And that's just what people do when they play blues. It's like a very improvised form. So it's great if you can sort of get to the stage where you can do a little bit of that yourself. So yeah, I hope that lesson was useful. Please consider downloading the score if you found this helpful. It's much appreciated from everyone who has done already. And we will see you here again soon on Coda Guitar.